They kept their silence since the passing of their husband, father and grandfather in early November at the age of 85. A private funeral service was held without any media present, and its location was firmly kept quiet. But today, de Klerk's dearest loved ones paid respect to him. His son spoke of his father's fundamental values, which were formed by family, the church, his status as an Afrikaner, and South Africa and all its people. He spoke of his father's wisdom, humor, and the many lessons he taught them.
Interaction with people should be based on humanity, respect, justice, with an attitude of earning something, deserving nothing. Be grateful. Gratitude changes what you have into enough. And he used to say, remember that you can never be present if you are looking backwards. For the thoughts, history will repeat itself until such time you learn from it, and only then you can change your path and make a choice.
De Klerk also spoke of the outcry following his father's death and referred to the former statesman's recorded message that was released to the public. In it, he apologized unreservedly for apartheid.
11 November 2021, a choir of repent went up from kitchen tables to Parliament. An apology accepted adds meaning, creates opportunity for forgiveness, for peace and coexistence. An apology rejected becomes meaningless and will be the rejecter's cross to carry.
His widow, Ilita, described de Klerk as the love of her life. She says they had many discussions about politics and described how he could not find peace over the horrendous system in the country. A man of strong beliefs who was extremely correct, she says it sometimes turned to his detriment.
He was often misunderstood due to this over-correctness. We were once watching Walter Sisulu's funeral on TV. I remember him being very distraught and saying to me, "What have we done?" And I remember him, being so upset. And I said to him, "Why can't you show this emotion to the public, to the people outside?" And he said, "I cannot betray my forefathers." But later he was sorry for this.
Following de Klerk's death, South Africans expressed mixed emotions about his legacy. In delivering his eulogy, President Cyril Ramaphosa says while it was the struggles of the South African masses that forced the perpetrators of apartheid to the negotiation table, it does not render de Klerk's contribution any less significant. He says the path of negotiation over conflict and reconciliation over recrimination was in no small part thanks to the courage and the conviction of de Klerk. The President says the speech made by de Klerk in February 1990 went against many in his own party and many white South Africans who feared majority rule and regarded black aspirations as a threat to their way of life, their culture, and their very existence.
We cannot say with conviction what course our country would have taken had that speech in February of 1990 not been made. We can, however, say that the country was faced with a stark choice between a negotiated settlement and a protracted civil strife, even that could amount to a civil war, far more destructive than anything that we had ever experienced before. That was a key moment when we chose the path of peace rather than strife as South Africans. We do know that the decisions announced that day contributed to a process whose eventual outcome was a democratic, non-racial, non-sexist constitutional order. We also know that under his leadership, the National Party was deliberately steered towards a democratic constitution, and that white South Africans came to accept the inevitability of change. In many ways, the change that took place freed white South Africans as well.
Meanwhile, outside the church, a small group of protesters said Ramaphosa should not have awarded de Klerk a state memorial service. The group says the government wants reconciliation without justice for those who suffered, fought and died during apartheid.
I'm talking about the likes of Ashley Krill. When they were being buried, the police who reported to FW de Klerk would, as a matter of principle and as a matter of practice, would raid churches, would raid funerals. And yet we give de Klerk this amount of respect. This is really showing that we have more askaris in government than we have comrades in government.
In closing, the president said de Klerk was born of the African soil to which he has now returned.
And it is here, within the warm embrace of this African soil, that he shall forever remain. I'd like to call upon all of us, whether we agreed with him or not, to now release him so that he can be at peace.
Mariska Botha, SABC News, Cape Town.